From the outside, there was nothing to explain. We woke up at the same time most mornings. We knew which mugs belonged to which hands. We paid the bills on time. We remembered birthdays, called our parents, planned weekends without arguing about them. If someone had asked how things were between us, I would have said, good. Not because I was lying, but because I didn't know what else to say. Nothing was wrong in a way you could point to. There were no slammed doors, no raised voices, no long silences that felt hostile. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that settles into furniture, that lives in the space between two people sitting on the same couch, looking at different screens, not because they're upset, but because they don't think about it anymore. I told myself this was what stability looked like. This was adulthood. This was what happened after the intensity faded and real life took over. I didn't miss him in obvious ways. I missed something less defined, a sense of being seen, maybe, or being curious about each other. But those felt like selfish things to want after a certain point, so I didn't call them losses, I called them adjustments. Whenever the thought crept in, is this it? I pushed it away gently. I reminded myself of everything we had built, the shared routines, the shared history, the comfort of knowing exactly how the other person would react. Comfort felt like proof. I told myself that love didn't need to feel electric anymore, that wanting more was a sign of immaturity, that calm was better than chaos. When friends talked about passion or excitement, I smiled and nodded, feeling quietly superior. I thought I had graduated from all that. I didn't ask him for more because I couldn't explain what more even was, and because he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was kind, present enough, reliable. So instead of questioning the relationship, I questioned myself. Maybe I was restless. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe this dullness was just what long-term love felt like when you stopped romanticizing it. I told myself I was being patient. I didn't realize yet that patience had slowly turned into waiting without knowing what I was waiting for. We lived a shared life without sharing ourselves. We talked about groceries, schedules, plans for next month. We didn't talk about fears or dreams or anything that didn't need an immediate answer. At night, we went to bed at the same time. Our bodies knew where to be, even if our minds didn't reach for each other anymore. Sometimes he would say, "Long day?" And I would say, "Yeah." And that would be the whole conversation. Not because we were angry, because neither of us followed the question further. I noticed that I stopped telling him small things, thoughts I had during the day, moments that made me laugh, worries that didn't have a clear solution. Not because he dismissed them, because it felt unnecessary, and that scared me quietly. Still, I stayed, because leaving would require a reason I couldn't articulate, because nothing had happened, because explaining emptiness felt indulgent. So I stayed and called it loyalty. I stayed and called it commitment. I stayed and told myself that something would eventually shift back into place. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a confession or a discovery. It was a Tuesday evening. We were sitting at the kitchen table, eating in silence. Not uncomfortable silence, just the usual one. He was scrolling through his phone. I was staring at a spot on the wall where the paint had chipped months ago. And suddenly, without warning, I realized something terrifyingly simple. I wasn't waiting for him anymore. I was waiting for time to pass. I imagined another year like this, then 5, then 10. Not unhappy, not fulfilled, just existing side by side. And for the first time, the thought didn't scare me because of what I would lose. It scared me because of what I already had. Nothing was broken. There was nothing to fix. It was finished, quietly, invisibly, and I had missed the moment it ended. I didn't confront him that night. I didn't announce anything. I just stopped arguing with the truth inside myself. I understood then that waiting was also a choice, and I had been making it every day. Not because I loved him deeply, not because I believed in us fiercely, but because staying was easier than starting over. And once I saw that clearly, it changed everything. Leaving didn't feel dramatic. It felt honest. There was no anger in it, no blame, just a quiet acknowledgement that this chapter had already closed, even if we were still standing inside it. I didn't leave because something bad happened. I left because nothing real was happening anymore. And that, I finally understood, was reason enough.